Okay, so this is a data set. So we want to take a variable, a quantitative one, which means one that we can measure. So not like hair color or eye color, but something like weight or height. So let's say that this is what's called a standard normal curve. So when people say a bell curve, this is the shape that they're referring to. So let's say that we took the data set of the number of Pokemon that people have caught so far in Pokemon Go. So what we would do is this peak right here is the mean, so the average. So the most people have the average. So let's say the average right now is 45. Well, standard deviation is a way to measure spread of data or variability. So how close is everything to the mean? How much does the data spread out? So a standard deviation, this is a standard curve. So one standard deviation ranges to this line, so this would be considered one standard deviation above the mean, and this is one standard deviation below the mean. So what that means, and this is called the 68, 95, 99 rule. For the first standard deviation, 68% of all of the data lies within this. So let's say here we put 55 and here we put 35. So that means that 68% of all of the people that we polled lie somewhere between 35 and 55, or within one standard deviation of the mean. So let's say here we put 65 and 25. And we go another 2 standard deviations. So that means that this is 2 standard deviations below the mean, 2 standard deviations above the mean. So this is 95% of our data will lie within two standard deviations of the mean. So that means that 95% of all of the people that we polled have caught somewhere between 25 and 65 Pokemon. 3 standard deviations is really getting out there. So this is 3 standard deviations. So 1, 2, 3 below, 1, 2, 3 above. 99% of all of your data should lie within 3 standard deviations of the mean. So that, let's say this is 85 and this is 15. So 99% of all the people that we've polled have caught somewhere between 15 and 85 Pokemon. So this kind of standard deviation just gives us a way to measure the spread of a data set. So let's say that we polled 100 people and we had graphed, all of the numbers that they reported. Well, this gives us an idea of how spread out is the data. Let's say we had a curve that instead looked like this. 68, 95, 99. Sorry, I drew that one ahead of time. I had time to make it look pretty. But let's say this is our data set. Well, as you can see, it's not very spread out. So 68% within one standard deviation, 68% of our data will fall, and it's all very close to the mean, not very spread out. So your value of standard deviation would be lower. Here we had a standard deviation of, let's say, 10. So each time we moved 10. Well, here let's say we had a standard deviation of 5. So there's not much spread, not much variability in the data set. So that is what standard deviation measures. If you have a specific mathematical problem that you'd like me to go through, just send it to me in Messenger. But this is kind of just to give you a concept of what standard deviation is.